Aloha. Today's episode is brought to you by the Western Extension Risk Management Education Center, RASP, USDA NIFA, and the University of Hawaii College of Tropical Agriculture and Human Resources, and the Livestock Extension Group.
Aloha, welcome to the Livestock Wala'au Mini, our podcast aimed to provide educational support, information, guidance, and outreach to livestock stakeholders in Hawaii. We are your hosts, Mele Oshiro and
Shannon Sand.
And today we're going to talk about some updates in this little mini episode.
Yeah. Should be both exciting and kind of quick, I guess. So kind of just a reminder that our Feedback Fest is still going on. We're going to keep that continuously rolling and just kind of pull every quarter to see what's going on. And we do appreciate any feedback you can give us because, again, it helps us better plan things for the future. And thank you very much. It's important.
Yeah. Always helpful to know that we're providing material that you want to hear about. So
that's really helpful.
So we'll start here, I guess, with some updates with CTAHR and some workshops. We are having the Oahu and Maui workshops for FRSAN, which is the Farm and Ranch Stress Assistance Network, and it is part of the S.O.W project, or Seeds of Wellbeing project. So we are holding our Oahu workshops October 18th at the Oahu Urban Garden Center and October 19th at Waimanalo Research Station.
Yeah.
The links for them registration is required just so that we are prepared for how many people are going to show up. So we have enough material, and will be linked in our show notes, but it's also on Eventbrite. So if you just search for CTAHR or Cooperative Extension and FRSAN, anything like that, you will find the workshops on Eventbrite.
Yeah. So what's gonna kind of be covered under this, Mele?
Yeah. So, these are, I like to say that these are kind of unique workshops because we don't typically have our extension agents from all different aspects of specialties in one single workshop. And so we are going to be talking about farm finance. We're going to be talking about livestock production and pasture management. We have someone talking about soils and the health of your soils. Another person talking about family and well-being and what's the other word, Shannon? I'm trying to think of like sort of succession
It's Monday,
planning.
y'all, for us recording this. So we're still working on piloting up the brain.
So it's a unique in sense that there's a little bit of expertise from all different areas. And it's all presented by our extension agents.
And Mele, or depending on where you're located at, either Mele or Kyle Kyra's will be covering a livestock portion as well. So Mele, can you talk a little bit about what you covered and stuff and how that might be helpful to people?
So, the stuff I covered was talking about, the topics came about for this workshop based on a needs assessment that was done by the Seeds of Wellbeing project, right? And so some of the things that came out in relation to livestock was production management, pasture management, and things that impact productivity in your pastures. So that's kind of where I went with the information that was provided in a general sense because we knew people would be coming from all different areas, and kind of how you can incorporate livestock into other management practices that maybe you already have, or production things that you already have going on, whether it's in crop or whatnot. So a little bit of everything, but very focused on kind of sort of the grazing animal and what you need out there in your pastures for them. In regards to the livestock agent that's going to be present, I'll be at the Oahu workshop. And Kyle will be presenting at the Maui workshop. And the dates for the Maui workshop is October 21st and 22nd. And they will both be at the Maui College campus in different areas. But like I said, everything's on Eventbrite. So just search UH CTAHR, FRSAN, workshop, something like that, or all of that, and you will find it. Shannon will be there presenting as well, and maybe she should, since we're both here, we can give you a little bit about what we'll be talking about. So Shannon, you want to share about what you'll be talking at these workshops about?
I'm talking about the most exciting thing of all that does not make people's eyes glaze over at all. I'm talking about finance and record keeping. So while it's not always the most exciting thing, it is actually one of the I think it's a very, very important aspect to our businesses and things that we run, because if we're not really keeping track of those records, how do we know if we're making money? And granted, I know some people, we do this because we love it, but like, it's also important to make sure that we are being fiscally responsible with our money as well. So I talk about record keeping, just different ways to keep records, because there's so many now. You can use your phone, Excel sheets, pen and paper. I prefer for people not to use shoe boxes, but you got to do what you got to do. So we kind of talk about that, and we go through kind of record keeping, a little bit of record keeping practice if we have time. So good times. This very exciting stuff. So.
And Shannon makes like it's not as exciting, but she makes it exciting to be able to talk about, and just keeps it interactive. So it does. It sinks in. Hey, you know what? Nothing's wrong with a shoebox, Shannon. I have boxes of things here, and I know exactly where everything is when I need to look for something. So it's better to at least have it.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, it's better to at least have it all in one spot than all over the place. So, but yeah, so that's a workshop that's coming up this month. Quite shortly. And also they're free, by the way. Those workshops are free. So, if you have any questions or you can't find it in Eventbrite or whatever, do send us an email. We'll definitely send you the link. And then our guests upcoming this month for the Livestock Wala'au is Dr. Caleb Reichhardt, who is an assistant professor with livestock production. He's with UH Manoa CTAHR in our HenFest department, and he's a new professor, I should say, on the college. And so he'll be giving us a little bit of his background and be talking to us a little bit about trace minerals and also preparing calves for the next stage of the production cycle. So join us next month, or I should say not next month, but in a few weeks when that podcast goes live.
Week or two,
And go ahead and take a listen and learn about our new professor that's going to be on campus.
Yeah. He's so interesting when we talk to him. I think he's got a lot to say and add to the conversation with regards to livestock in the state. And I think he'll be a good resource to have. And hopefully we'll get to have him on here again and talk about some of his other projects, because he's doing some pretty cool, exciting stuff. So
definitely we'll be picking his brain about things for sure.
Oh yeah.
And then Two-lined Spittlebug, this pest that we've been
bane of many people's existence.
Yes.
I think at this
especially
point.
here on the Big Island, right? It's been here on the Big Island.
And we're dry. On top of it, it's like it's a double whammy. I feel like happening here. I don't know about anywhere in other locations, but boy, it's just it's dry on a lot of the counties I know, but it's bad. It seems like everywhere lately.
Two-lined Spittlebug was detected. We had Dr. Mark Thorne on last season talking about the impacts that it has had on our ranchers, and in the grazing lands that they are in production with. It was first detected in Hawaii in 2016, and since 2021 has infested over 180,000 acres on Hawaii Island. It is only on Hawaii Island. And this pest is, as we said, impact to the state as well, and legislation has really come through in this last season to be able to provide some funding for mitigation and control of the two-lined spittlebug, and help to recover some of the rangelands that has been damaged by this pest. So Hawaii Department of Agriculture is issuing service awards through a proposal process, and through the University of Hawaii research cooperation, and that will help to mitigate and control two-lined spittlebug in the rangelands. And so the funding period, I should say the proposal submission deadline is October 17th. So it's going to be coming up shortly once this. So, get ahead. If you have questions about the RFP, we'll put the links in there. But if you have questions about them, do contact Dr. Mark Thorne, because he is the lead contact person for this project. The spittlebug, it's very scary how much acreage it has taken out and the impact it's had over these rangelands. And, we'll put some links into some other information about those impacts that it's had across the rangelands, the link to the RFP and whatnot. But do know that the deadline's coming up for you to submit proposals for some of this funding and it's October 17th is the deadline. So do go and look at HDOA's website and look for Two-lined Spittlebug RFP if you don't want to search for, or if you can't find the link, you'll find it that way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's so important, like if you to make sure you're helping out, or if it's something you're interested in and you've been affected, like take advantage of that, you know.
Yeah.
So
the funding, I believe, can be used for other, control of the weeds infestation that's been there, as well as some grass, what do you call reseeding in some of the areas that has been damaged.
I was gonna say replanting, but I was like, I don't even know if that's the correct verbiage. I know. I need a little bit more, like I need a little bit more of my like water and juice and tea and stuff.
Yeah, I took in a little more coffee this morning. It would have been good for me. But anyways, and also on the Two-lined Spittlebug track, there is a new application developed by Mark Thorne and his Dr. Thorne and his team. And it is application available on both iOS and Android devices. And it's in response to the amount of the Two-lined Spittlebug and its impacts, but it has, it's resulted in some areas 100% dieback of some very key grasses that is used in grazing production for beef cattle and other grazing animals as well. And so this smartphone application can help to identify, report, and then sort of facilitate the management of the Two-lined Spittlebug. So it has features. You can go into there and look at the biology of the Two-lined Spittlebug, the information's in there, ecology of it. You can go in and tag different areas that you have Spittlebug either in your pasture, attach a picture to it, and it'll even give you a little tool that helps you to gauge the age of the nymphs, as well as the proper identification of the adult Spittlebug. So lots of information in the tool. It's available in both the Google, I'm not an Android person. What is it? Google Play Store, right? And then also the Apple Store, Apple App Store.
I've been Apple like 4 or 5 years now, so I'm sorry. I also am over the hill on that one. So.
Yeah, but it's available for both.
It would be nice. Maybe at some point we could have like Dr. Thorne on here to talk about it some, because I was like, this is so cool. And I know he's been working on this for, I think, over a year.
It's been a long time. I don't think any of us really, we knew it takes a long time to develop an app, but really when you start to develop an app,
when I've done it, like when I've attempted to do, I should say attempted, because nothing's ever been, I was like, when I've attempted, I was like, once I realized like how expensive and how long, and then the updates. So you have to continuously go after funding, because you have to, when they do updates to all these, the softwares on our phones, you have to pay for those apps to be updated. So this is a long-term thing for UH and HDOA and stuff, I'm assuming. But and it's a great thing to take advantage of.
Yeah. And I think part of the app too is kind of to be able to get more information. Right? And monitor where it is. So
that's like really handy.
And then we can kind of gauge the what do you call spread and how quickly, right? Again, everything's moving. So he will be talking, I think, a little bit more, and we'll try to get him on there, or at least get a demo video of how to use the app. And I think that'll be very useful. But I've been in the beta mode with them, testing the app as it was being developed. So it's pretty straightforward to use. So I think it'll be very useful.
We have a lot going on, I feel like, this month and next, between
lots of things,
these different workshops, the release of this app, the potential funding for Two-lined Spittlebug, and then it looks like HCC is also doing their cattlemen. I should stop using acronyms because I get confused when people use letters instead of words. The Hawaii Cattlemen's Council, is doing their annual convention and meeting this year in person. So this will be very exciting. I'm really excited. So it's like, we're going in person, so I'm looking forward to it. So so
we'll put the links for where the registration is and everything for that. And that's happening November 18th and 19th is the Cattlemen's annual conference and annual meeting.
Yes, and this year they will also be celebrating inductees into the Paniolo Hall of Fame. So so it's gonna be pretty exciting. Mhm.
Always a great meeting. Yeah, and also for our pork producers out there,
Yes.
HPIA, Hawaii Pork Industry Association is having their annual membership meeting on Saturday, October 22nd, via Zoom. So if you
Mhm.
are interested in becoming a member and want to attend the meeting, please contact Dr. Janae O'Donnell. We will put all her contact information there. And then you can get a link and everything and get registered for that meeting.
Yeah, like I said, there's a lot going on, and I think even going into December and January, I was like, we got plans in the making that there's a lot going to be happening, like between UH and like different outside organizations and stuff.
Mhm.
I think we're gonna have a lot going on, so get excited.
Yes.
I guess so. Um, but yeah, make sure to follow us on our social media pages, the Livestock Wala'au and Livestock Extension Group, if you haven't already. Be sure to visit the UH CTAHR Extension website and our YouTube channel listed in the show notes.
Yeah, and for more information about this and other topics or comments, send us an email at walaau@hawaii.edu.
Yeah. Thank you for listening. And before we go, show some love for your favorite podcast. That's us, by the way, by leaving us a review on Apple Podcasts or anywhere you listen to this. What podcast? Then stay tuned for next month.
Yes, thanks again to our sponsors, the Western Extension Risk Management Education Center, RASAP, USA, NIFA, the Livestock Extension Group, and CTAHR. Mahalo for listening. Ahui ho.
Ahui ho!